A popular TikToker documented his life and relationship with his girlfriend.
You want to marry me?
Yeah. Are you asking me to marry you right now?
You gonna marry me?
Yes. We're married.
Okay. I'm just playing though. I never married your sorry.
I hope that hurt.
I love you though.
No, you don't.
I love you.
No, you don't.
I like to wake up in the morning, roll over and look at you and be like, damn!
But now he's behind bars accused of shooting her in the face.
When we look at that individual, those individuals in the social media posts, they post again the highlights of what's going on. Oh, we're happy here. We're going on dates and doing things of that nature. And you just don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Ladarius Brownlee, known online as Dino, chronicled his romantic life and relationship with his girlfriend, Saida Hashimi, known online as Zara. The duo, under the username of Dino and Zara, raked more than 150,000 followers on TikTok, and some of their videos massed millions of views. While the two appeared as a doting couple, trouble was brewing behind the scenes, as investigators say a heated argument after a holiday celebration would lead to tragedy. According to the Flower Mound Police Department, the shooting stemmed from a heated argument as the couple were walking home from a 4th of July Independence Fest held in a local park. The fight reportedly turned physical. Then they got into their car, driving less than 3 miles away from the park. When Brownlee stopped the car, he pulled out a tanned Glock firearm from the driver's door pocket and allegedly shot Zara in the face above her right eye.
I mean, anytime you hear a story such as that, it's going to be just astounding to where you are just taken aback that any person can be charged with such a heinous crime. That is something that is definitely intentional. So there's nothing that we could say that wouldn't be intentional about that action. And so it's definitely something that takes me off guard.
When officers arrived at the scene, they discovered the 28-year-old lying on the ground outside of the car. Brownlee was still on the scene when officers arrived and arrested without incident.
Shooting someone really at any point is something that takes a lot of gumption from any person, right? But when you are right at the person's face, you're seeing them eye to eye, having eye contact, that takes more than anything in the world. Again, we go back to intentionality with something like that. And so this individual in this particular case was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I'm surprised he wasn't charged with attempted murder, honestly, because it's just that it rises to that level. And I wouldn't be surprised if they increase it to that charge.
Texas-based criminal defense attorney Bridget Williams explains he now faces a lengthy sentence behind bars.
If he's convicted of the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon because there's a dating relationship, then again, that makes it a first degree felony. And so he could be facing anywhere between no less than 5 years in prison, no more than 99 years in prison. And so if he's facing that, then it would definitely be a first degree felony charge. I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe even takes a plea agreement on something like this because he's given 2 confessions, I believe, one in a 911 call and then also to investigators at a later time.
Zara was rushed to the hospital after the shooting as she sustained life-threatening injuries. And at this time, her condition is unclear. But a police spokesperson would tell WFAA in Texas she'll likely remain in the hospital for quite some time. Jail records show Brownlee faces charges including aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and deadly conduct discharging a firearm. But Williams explains those charges could change if Zara's condition takes a turn for the worst.
Whenever a person is charged immediately, sometimes the police department will charge the person with something that they know that they can prove. In this particular instance, the person is being charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Okay, we know that he assaulted her. It was aggravated because there was a weapon that was involved. It's a deadly weapon. That's a pretty much straightforward case there, right? And normally that charge is going to be a second degree felony. However, when there is a dating relationship or a family type of relationship that's involved, it enhances that charge to a first degree felony. So aggravated assault with a deadly weapon with a dating relationship, now he's being charged with a first degree felony. And then in addition to that, the discharge of a firearm within a municipality, that is a misdemeanor case in Texas. And so he has two charges right now. Now, however, I would not be surprised if they increase that charge to attempted murder if this young lady survives. If she passes away, then of course I believe he'll be charged with murder. In Texas, we only have first degree murder. Then we also have like manslaughter and then things of that nature go down from there. But here it's murder. And if this particular person is charged with murder, then his punishment range can be anywhere from no less than 5 years up to 99 years in prison. The punishment range is the same, even though on the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon with the dating relationship, it's all a first degree felony case. So either way, he's facing a first degree murder charge. It's just a different charge. If she passes away, it would be murder.
Brownlee reportedly confessed to the shooting on a 911 call and again to investigators. And since he stayed on the scene after the shooting and didn't flee, Williams says it's possible that could help his case.
I am a little surprised that he stayed at the scene and that he gave a confession on the 911 call, because that's immediately, right? So that's in the heat of the moment when everything is going on. You give a confession immediately right off the 911 call saying this is what happened. Now, I don't know if he says, well, maybe she lunged out at me. I don't know what happened prior to that happening, but all we know is that he gives a confession on the 911 call. Now, is it helpful for his case? It may be helpful for his case in that he stayed when we talk about negotiations and mitigating, saying that he didn't run away from it. He takes responsibility for it fully, right? And that may mean that he knows that he may need help, right? And he's not running away from the responsibility. So that could be helpful in mitigating the circumstances and mitigating the punishment whenever we're negotiating with the prosecution on his behalf. So I feel like that would be helpful. But as far as the charge for him, the charge is going to be the same. We'll just go back to that discovery to determine if all of his rights were given to him at the time of giving those confessions, and was that something that can be admitted into evidence.
With the two previously chronicling their lives on social media.
This is why I hate going shopping with motherfuckers.
We stop it.
Motherfuckers want to stop it. Every stop. I'm talking about every last one of them.
No, I'm never taking you shopping again.
Nah, I'm not taking you shopping no more.
Show them what you got.
Then motherfucker come here to get out of the goddamn Christmas tree. Like, man, I ain't wanna get this damn Christmas tree for my room. Finna make me mad.
I am never
Piss
going
me
with
off.
you anywhere again because you do not let me buy what I want to buy.
Because you just be spending money on nothing.
Because I'm over here trying to shop and make the house cute.
This shopping right here.
We have to
okay.
feed the hungry.
Okay. There you go.
Thank you so much.
Williams explains their online personas might not have shown the full extent of their relationship, as witnesses would tell investigators the two had been verbally and physically violent in the past.
I think you hit that right on the nail. Social media is such a highlight reel of everyone's life, and sometimes it's very difficult for several people, millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, when they're looking at social media to compare our lives to things that are going on social media. But when we look at that individual, those individuals in this social media post, they post again the highlights of what's going on. Oh, we're happy here. We're going on dates and doing things of that nature, and you just don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I think there was some other witnesses who testified that they, or not testified, but talked about that the couple had previous history of having frequent arguments. But those are not the things that you see on social media. You see the highlights, you see the parts where we're in love and happy. And so sometimes it's very difficult for people to make sure they separate that, and you don't know exactly what's going on social media.
At this time, Brownlee remains behind bars with a more than $500,000 bond.
Whenever a judge takes into consideration giving bond a case, they take into multiple factors into consideration. Is the person a flight risk? Do they have the means to become a flight risk? Does he have the means to escape and go to another country or something like that, right? Is he a danger to himself and others? He is a danger to himself and others. He is being charged with the heinous crime of shooting another person in the face, right? Does he have any community ties? So does he have any people in the community that could be supportive of him? And then lastly, does he have the means in order to post the bond? So there are multiple things that go into consideration when a judge is giving a person a bond and for that amount that the judge considers to give as well. I am not surprised at all that the amount is what it is. It is excessive, but this is an excessive offense that he's being charged with. And like we talked about before, whenever a person he has I would say the danger to himself and others, then that is something that it meets that burden. It meets the charge.
And even if Zara survives the horrific shooting, it'll be up to prosecutors to determine if Brownlee's charges will get upgraded.
In our state of Texas, a lot of people think that it's always the alleged victim versus the defendant, and that's just not true. Once a charge comes forward, it is now the state of Texas versus that defendant, and the alleged victim is just now a witness for the state of Texas. And so the state of Texas is represented by the district attorney's office, and the district attorney's office has the sole discretion of what the charges are and what the plea agreements are going forward. They will take into account what the victim's opinion is and what the victim wants, but they are no way obligated to utilize and say and do what it is that victim wants them to do. They will take it into consideration when they are making the charges and when they are moving forward in plea agreements. But it is ultimately up to the DA's office when deciding what the charges will be and what the plea agreements will be as well. The main issues here is just waiting to see what the discovery is coming out here, and hopefully that this young lady makes a full recovery. And if that is the case, seeing how this case unfolds.
Ladarius Brownlee, aka Dino, is still behind bars in the Denton County Jail, held on a more than $800,000 bond. At this time, Zara's condition remains unclear. Flower Mound PD says the case is still an active investigation, and anyone with information on the incident is asked to give them a call. Reporting for Law and Crime, I'm Elizabeth Milner.